The year is 2026. Nicolás Maduro sits locked inside a Brooklyn prison. But before history stamps its verdict, one thing must be clear. This wasn't just a covert operation. It wasn't simply a political negotiation. Those cuffs flashed on every news channel in January 2026. They were decades in the making. They were carved by an economic collapse so precise, so total, it transformed South America's wealthiest nation into a wasteland. Imagine standing atop an ocean of wealth. Oil fields larger than Saudi Arabia. Endless beaches, fertile farmland, educated citizens, and yet hunger reigns. Not just bankruptcy, but an 80% annihilation of the economy in a single decade. How do you erase $100 billion without building anything of lasting value? How does a cup of coffee cost $3 million? Today, we aren't studying the arrest. We are auditing the destruction. This is the surgical breakdown of the most spectacular economic implosion in modern history. This is the collapse that consumed Maduro. The final tally, claimed by Black Gold. The Black Gold trap, or how to strike it rich and self-destruct. To understand why Maduro ended in that cell, we trace the trap to its origin. It starts with a number, 300 billion. That's the barrels of proven oil buried under Venezuelan soil. The largest on Earth, larger than Saudi Arabia, larger than the U.S. geological lottery that should have minted untold wealth for every citizen. But here is the brutal truth of economics. Oil demands devotion. When Maduro assumed power in 2013 after Hugo Chavez died, he inherited a machine already aflame. Years of mismanagement had poisoned the state with severe Dutch disease. For those skipping Econ 101, when a nation earns enormous oil revenue, its currency inflates. Imports become absurdly cheap. Why farm tomatoes locally when Brazil delivers them for pennies? Why make cars when Toyotas arrive at discount prices? Venezuela stopped producing, farms shut, factories closed. They pumped oil, sold it, and imported everything else. As long as oil stayed above $100 a barrel, the party roared a limitless, intoxicating celebration. But Maduro inherited more than dependency. He inherited decay. Years earlier, in an act of ego that would doom the nation, almost 20,000 engineers and geologists at PDVSA, the state oil company, were fired for striking, replaced by political cronies good at chance, incapable of maintaining subterranean high-pressure pipelines. By the time Maduro took control, pumps were corroded, infrastructure crumbling, pipelines leaking, but he needed cash to keep the illusion alive. Repair was ignored. PDVSA became a personal cash machine. Rally funds? Take it from the oil company? Pay a general? Take it from the oil company. Maintenance? Erased. Here lies the first fatal strike. Production collapse. When Maduro started, Venezuela pumped nearly 3 million barrels per day. By the time the handcuffs clicked, barely 800,000 barrels. Its low point, 2020, hit a pitiful 337,000. Picture owning a bakery, halting flour deliveries, firing the bakers, and selling ovens as scrap. Then acting surprised when bread disappears. That was Maduro's economic doctrine. The golden goose devoured and blamed it for stopping its eggs. But when oil revenue collapsed in 2014, surely he reduced spending. Surely belt-tightening followed? No, he did the opposite. He turned on the money press. Hyperinflation engaged. The year is 2014. Oil collapses. Revenue vanishes. Expenses mount. Social programs, subsidies, debts, military loyalty. A rational government would raise taxes or cut spending. Maduro stared at the central bank and said, "Print more." Not inflation, hyperinflation. Economic velocity shattered. The numbers are staggering. 2013. Inflation 56% manageable. 2015, 180%. 2016, 2,354%. 2018, IMF and Assembly estimate 130,000%. Early 2019, over 300,000%. For perspective, Monday, an egg is $1, Friday, $3,000. Prices weren't tracked by days, they shifted hourly. Restaurant menus are meaningless. By dessert, the steak doubled. Currency was worthless. Bills are more useful as coasters than currency. Citizens wove purses from cash because craft exceeded face value. Maduro's answer? Denial. He declared economic war. Blame shopkeepers, the CIA, capitalist parasites. The military forced shops to cut prices. TVs for $10? Fine. Shelves emptied. Second fatal strike. Price destruction. Economies depend on trust. Money holds value. Exchanges are reliable. Maduro incinerated that trust. Transactions became panic. Money melted through hands like ice on asphalt. If losing savings is brutal, wait for food to collapse. Hunger transformed the collapse into a humanitarian crisis. Weaponizing food, 2016, a grim joke spreads in Caracas, the Maduro Diet. Punchline, you lose weight but gain nothing. Not funny, but when starving, humor feeds. ENCO survey, 2016, 75% lost 19 pounds, not from exercise, from missed meals. Third fatal strike, scarcity weaponized. As the economy crumbled, shelves emptied. The government offered clap boxes, subsidized food packages on paper aid. In reality leverage, protest Maduro, no box. Miss party list, no box. Opposition districts, trucks break down. Theft embedded in survival. Alex Saab, Maduro's financier, orchestrated massive markups on poor quality imports. Powdered milk from Mexico. Nearly worthless, millions pocketed while children starved. Starvation became an industry. Destroy farms, destroy currency, then say, I'll feed you. If you obey, cynicism weaponized, the working class is broken. Empty stomachs suppress rebellion, the great exodus. Voting with feet, by 2018 Venezuela was ablaze. Fourth fatal strike, human capital hemorrhage. Since 2014, 7.7 million have fled, 25% of the population. Imagine Texas empty, Switzerland evacuated. Largest displacement crisis in the hemisphere. No bombs, just economic warfare. Who left? Doctors, engineers, oil specialists. Caracas, 2019. No power, missing surgeons, hospitals failing professionals washing dishes abroad. Maduro lost not just wealth but the talent to restore it. Infrastructure breakdown. March 2019. Venezuela plunged into darkness for almost a week. Guri Dam fails, 80% of power cut. Not aliens, not hackers, not saboteurs. Engineers report truth, neglect. Fired staff, abandoned turbines, corroded substations. Fifth fatal strike, systemic collapse. No electricity, no water, 90 degrees Fahrenheit tropical heat, hospitals powerless, deaths mounting. The economy became life-threatening, dollarization and the bodegan mirage. 2020, surreal economics. Streets of destitution beside luxury shops. Sixth fatal strike, zombie economy, US dollar quietly legalized. Society split, 95% in worthless bolivars, 5% in dollars loyalists, generals, diaspora families. Illusion of prosperity luxury imports, no domestic production, laundering wealth. Arco Minero, gold plundered for cash. Oil dead, liquidity required. Maduro unleashed illegal gold mining Wild West, military and criminal gangs, mercury poisoning rivers, gold smuggled abroad. Seventh fatal strike, gangster economy. By 2024 to 25, Venezuela wasn't a country, it was a criminal cartel. 2024 election trap, opposition victory was clear in July 2024. Maduro could have salvaged the economy, accept defeat, step down, allow recovery. He chose fraud, repression. Sanctions reimposed, eighth fatal strike, ego over survival. Cartel of the Suns, the state becomes a narco network. Cocaine routes run by the military. Ninth fatal strike, government criminalized. Loyalty now purchased. $15 million bounty isolates Maduro. Even allies abandon him. January 3, 2026, incentives reversed. The military refuses to protect him. Delta Force finds an empty shell. Economic collapse stripped his shield. He became expendable. The verdict. Nicolás Maduro sits in Brooklyn. What destroyed him? Reality. He misjudged money, power, and consequences. Printing wealth fails. Consuming oil fails. Ruining a nation indefinitely fails. Final bill, GDP minus 80%, poverty 90%, 8 million exiled, currency erased. Trials will come, but no court can capture the suffering. The economy crucified Venezuela along with Maduro. If this breakdown sharpened your understanding of Maduro's ruin, hit like. It tells the algorithm that truth matters, not illusions. Subscribe. Venezuela's next chapter, its revival, will be as cinematic as its downfall. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.